who has ever done like an official annual planning session for their agency before? Would this be the first time? Because I'm just going to kind of guide you through it if not.
I mean, I've done it before. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi. But I haven't done it with you guys before, so I'm
Okay.
looking forward to like attaching my plans to today's session and seeing how, really looking for any gaps that I missed, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
do
that's
you guys
awesome.
see something I don't see? Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna ask just a bunch of questions. So whatever's comfortable for you guys. If you prefer pen and paper, if you prefer typing, whatever works for you, do what works for you. But open up a doc or have a pad of paper. But I'm gonna ask questions, and I'm gonna pause, and I'm gonna ask you guys to like truly think about it, write things down, and then I'm just gonna have a brief moment of asking for, hey, what did you write down? What's kind of jumping out to you? And we'll just do that very briefly so I can get through all the questions. So um, yeah, I look forward to hearing what your takeaways are. But this is a really powerful thing that we've been doing for that company. We've had annual planning sessions for a long time, but those annual planning sessions haven't always been super organized. And we'd sit down, we just kind of like chat, and then we walk away, and that'd be that. But we adopted, we read the book Traction by, oh man, Gino Wickman, I think that's it. And we started executing the EOS system inside of our business. It's been really productive for our business, and one of the things is doing an annual planning session, doing quarterly planning sessions that kind of recap, hey, how did we do this last quarter? Are we hitting our goals? Are we not hitting our goals? That kind of stuff. So it's been really beautiful for us, so I wanted to introduce it to you guys. And this is really great timing for that since it's the end of the year. We're planning on moving into 2025. So and next week is a guest speaker, so this is my chance. This is my chance to have this kind of a session with y'all. So all right. I am going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time and being here with us. If you just joined, just quick thing here, grab a piece of paper and a pen, or open up a Word doc. Either way, whatever you're comfortable with. All right, so let's jump in. So annual planning session, super high level. The goals here that we're going to achieve is, one, we're going to reflect. We're going to reflect on this past year. We can get really busy in the day-to-day life of just doing things that it's so powerful when you take the time to do this, to look back. What did we accomplish? What did we not accomplish? Why did we accomplish what we accomplished? Why didn't we accomplish what we wanted to accomplish, etc. Then we'll align, right? What do we want? What do we want out of our agency next year? Now, it's beautiful to look beyond just 1 year, but for this purposes, we'll just be looking at 1 year. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll be planning out for the future. How do we accomplish what we want? Okay. So first question and reflect is, let's start with the wins. What were some of your biggest wins this year? And it doesn't have to be, your biggest wins are your biggest wins. So this is not a comparison thing in this room. But yeah, what was your biggest win? And write that down. And if you feel comfortable, I encourage you, just throw your biggest win in the chat for me. I think that's going to be the most efficient way that I can kind of hear some of your wins and share them here. But think about that. What was something you're really proud of that you accomplished? What was a big win? Just to fill some space on our side, I know for me, one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to increase the number of lead generation channels we have for our organization. We're very SEO reliant, always have been. It's been our main way of generating leads. And successfully generated over 1,000 leads from Facebook advertising this year. And that was a first of even launching a Facebook advertising campaign for us to bring in agency partners. So that's a big win that I'm personally proud of that I got to participate in here. There's other wins that I'm not like. So there's missions that are not related to me that other people were in charge of, but that was one that I got to do. That was a lot of fun. So go ahead. Alex put, I've been able to finally overcome my shyness and talk to people, join networking events. Yes! That is so powerful. So powerful. Oh my gosh, that is going to serve you for the rest of your life. Right? So if we can get comfortable with like even rejection and just like, but yeah, just talking to people. That's so good. It's one of the reasons that I actually like highly recommend almost everybody should do cold calls at some point in their life is so they can just get a ton of rejection and get very comfortable with it. But congratulations, Alex. I love that. Been asked to be an ambassador on Alignable. Oh, that's cool. Congratulations on that too. Mike finally started outreach, started our first cold email outreach. Congratulations. That is a big deal. Getting the wheels turning. That too started doing cold calling myself. Awesome. That's a good stuff. Todd, partnership with that company. Meet first prospect, create brand assets. Awesome. Laying some of the foundation. Hey, how are you going to service them? Getting your first prospect in so you can have that conversation. Again, laying the foundation with brand assets. Dominique, my master's and my DC trip. Wait. The DC trip? Is that the DC trip we suggested you go on?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot, Mike. You weren't there when I was talking about it, I don't think. I think Marty was there, but yeah, it was successful. I'm glad I went.
Awesome. Plus securing 2 5-figure projects from that event. Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
man.
cool stuff.
This is why you guys show up to this mastermind. We'll encourage you in ways that stretch you, and you just go, all right, I'm gonna go do that thing.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
That's so good. All right. If you guys haven't written it down, please do. What was your biggest win this year? Share it if you can. I'm gonna keep going though. Reflecting on this past year, I don't know if you necessarily had goals written down. If you didn't, we're hopefully going to exit this with you having goals for next year. So you will, the next time we do this at the end of next year, you'll be able to respond to this and say, yes, I had these goals and this is what I accomplished. But maybe you just had mental goals. The idea, though, is we always want to put our goals down on paper so we can, get them out of our heads, build a plan around them. But if you had specific goals written down or even just mental goals, what were the goals that you had that you did accomplish, that you initially just like intentionally you set out to accomplish them and you did it? What was it? And maybe it's the biggest wins, right? You could just say, hey, that was my goal and that's what I accomplished. But it could be beyond that too, right? Which of your goals did you accomplish this year? Maybe you had a whole list of goals, right? If you can reference that. So for us, we will, when we have our annual planning session as an organization, which will be, and the management team will be meeting, I think it's next week, next Friday and Monday. We'll be sitting down, going over all the goals we wrote down, detailing which ones did we hit. What did we accomplish? Finding a reliable white label partner to work with. Awesome. That's why I hire Marty. That way you have the reliable part. And then, I'm just here. I'm just to hang out. Congrats. And thank you also for the compliment. Anybody else? Which of your goals did you accomplish? Finding a niche and start to understand their problems. Oh, so beautiful. Great one, Todd. That is awesome. Once you can talk very specifically to one niche, it is a powerful, powerful thing, right? For us, it is to understand and know the problems of agency owners inside and out and solve them as best as possible, right? Hey Jennifer, welcome. We're doing a kind of recap of 2024. This is an annual planning session that you have just stepped into, and you're encouraged to participate with us. Open up a Word doc. We have you haven't missed too much, but we're reflecting back on this year. Which of your goals did you set out this year to accomplish, and what did you accomplish? So if you write those down, and then if you want to throw them into the chat, love to get to celebrate with you on those too. What goals did you guys accomplish? I'll give like 2 more minutes here. Don't want to rush something. At the same time, I do want to make sure I get to all the questions. Mike as well, focusing on a specific niche. Beautiful. That's powerful. Working on your own skills. Hey, that builds such confidence as well because business can ebb and flow, but you can't take away the skills that you've developed, right? You're like, oh, I can go and rebuild. It's a very powerful place to build, right? Is focus on yourself, building up your skills, builds a lot of confidence, a lot of competency. I love it. All right. Work on creating systems to remove myself from the operation as much. Yeah, now we're talking. AI told you niche problems and you verified in the real world. Awesome, Todd. Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow, AI changed the whole world this year, didn't it? A lot of our habits, at least my habits, have changed.
Let's say you especially.
I don't use Google nearly as often to find information. It's severely impacted informational search. Um, Not nearly as much as I think it has not impacted commercial search or transactional search as much, but definitely has had a big impact on informational search and thinking things through. All right, I'm going to keep going. Zapier has become a large part of my systems now. Beautiful. Beautiful. Big fan of Zapier. Use it as well. All right. Why do you think you were successful in achieving them? So you accomplished these goals. Why? Because we're going to get to in a moment like the goals we didn't accomplish, and I'm going to ask the question of why there. But like, what made you successful in it? Like, what are the habits that you had or the things that you did that made that a reality? I can tell you one of the big things for me is time blocking. I know that I accomplished my goals because I put them on the calendar. They are there. They are in my face. If I did not time block, they would never happen. Marty probably looks at my Thursdays and goes, man, why are you always not taking meetings on Thursdays? Like, what the heck do you do? It's like, well, I'm working on that stuff.
Yep. Your job is different than mine.
All right. Termination and tunnel vision. Oh, tunnel vision. That's good. Anybody else? Why do you think you were successful in achieving the things that you wrote down? If you want to throw that in there, I'd love to read it off. Perseverance, not giving up. Heck yeah. Power to you, Jennifer. I know that is a reality. Perseverance. Proud of you. Proud to be a partner with you and get to work with you. You keep doing it. Work-life balance. That's important. That's important. I can tell you a big thing for me is honestly a regular date night with my wife every week. I need it, especially with fostering and all that. A lot of stress has been added to our life. Need that time. Need that balance. I'm not great at work-life balance. I will be first to admit it. My wife will say that too. Like I'm terrible at it. But that has been powerful for us. moving away from pain, 9 to 5 hurts. I know I can help something to help people. Love it. Reading books, learning from others who've gone through the same issues as I've gone through, writing them down, focusing on one issue. Absolutely, right? So learning from others, documenting. It's so powerful to document what we have learned, right? We learn so much and it kind of just stays up in our head, but it doesn't become reality. I truly believe it doesn't become reality for us in many cases until we take the time to write it down. I think that's a very powerful thing. So that's why we're doing that today. Thank you guys for participating there. We're going to keep going. Which of your goals did you set out to achieve, did you not achieve? I'll be going through all those today. We did not hit all of our goals that we had. First referral, having the number of clients I was expecting. Yep. Who else? Which of your goals did you not achieve? Agreed with Rafat. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I have a belief that if we all knew how hard it would be to build what we want to build, none of us would start. And I think that's literally why we all have to take one day at a time, because we eventually get to build it. But if we saw how hard it was going to be, how much we would have to solve, we would try to go, how do I accomplish that? Meanwhile, it's literally something we're supposed to do over years, not in a couple of days, right? Or a couple of weeks or a couple of months, etc. But there's something about getting the flywheel turning just a little bit, learning, getting some momentum, getting some setbacks, learning from that. Honestly, I'm very thankful for the setbacks we've had as an organization. We've learned so much from them, and it's put us in a more powerful place. One of the setbacks that we learned early on was we used to pursue really big clients. We had really big clients, and we grew really fast in the first 3 years of business. And three big clients left, and then we were in layoffs. Layoffs suck. We've only had to do that 2 to 3 times in company history of doing this for 17 years. We are very quick about them, doing them well, making sure people feel safe here, and it's not like this constant thing that we look at and have to do. We rebuilt our business so it could be, how can we help small businesses? How can we, spread that out? So, hey, 1 business leaves, 2 business leaves is not, oh, I'm in layoffs, right? How do I build a really healthy foundation? I think we've done that really well. We're fairly close to 200 customers across all of our partners. Let's see here. Just creating a stable income. Didn't reach the target MRR we wanted to hit by the end of this year. The income level I wanted to make after school ended close, but didn't make it. Todd Ross with a no cap. Todd Rose, sorry, not Ross. I don't know why I said Ross. Sorry. So a lot of the financial goals. Understand. Been there. Why don't you think you hit them? I didn't. So most of them being financial here. Honest feedback.
I can share.
Okay, please do.
I'm listening and I'm not writing everything, but I think just reflecting back from the beginning of the year, selected a niche, tried it out. I think I gave it a fair chance. And then shifted to a different niche. Also, the partner that we engage with, not that company, but a different partner to kind of get our website up and running and landing pages. Some of the other assets that I guess go with launching has taken a lot more time and redo. So I haven't been able to really get that going. Tried some paid ads, with that initial niche, and maybe I didn't give it long enough to run those paid ads, but also sitting in on these calls and just, being part of a lot of mastermind groups, sounds like it's more than just the ads, right? There's so much more that goes into it. It's so much more holistic than, kind of when you think about it, it's more holistic. And so lots of learning there. But ultimately, I think it just comes down to your question was, why didn't you get to the goal, right?
Yep.
So I'll say that, a lot of those components, and then maybe not taking massive action as quickly. I am working on, trying to get some cold email outreach going. So like that's still a process. I actually did launch some campaigns through, what was it? Gosh, I'm blanking on the name. You guys recommended a company.
Instantly.ai.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So, but it's, it's not like I'm not share. I guess it's still a smaller group. It's like 150 emails that are going out.
Got it.
And I think it's a process. So we'll see how that goes. But so I think just a lot of testing that took place, and at the same time, still working full time and not dedicating 100%, right?
Yep.
To this. So just going as fast as I can, but I think work-life balance still is important.
Yeah, no, it is. So in essence, if I could boil all that down, not calculating or not having realized the learning curve associated with getting this really going.
Yeah. And I guess also just reaching out, consistently reaching out to
massive action.
To my own sphere of influence, right? Like kind of working more on like the easy, it's not necessarily easy, but like the automated stuff, right?
Yeah.
That you can do. So spending more time there versus actually having conversations and reaching out. And because I noticed doing that landed me a couple of clients that I currently have.
Yeah.
This the other option, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
Conversations are, so I've noticed it's really interesting. We do a ton in marketing for that company, and it brings in, all sorts of different stuff of partners, and that leads to all sorts of business of inbound of people I don't know. But some of the best things have been just like sending an email to somebody I know and it leading to a conversation that builds a great partnership. Or somebody I don't know, and I just go, hey, I think that there's something here. Just those conversations that are it's not like this marketing at scale, but it's very personalized of, hey, I believe that this would be helpful. Let's have a conversation. That stuff is powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I mean, the second thing that comes to mind, but I feel like that's like the next thing that I'm trying to work on. But is the sales, like just trying to close folks too, and so hopefully that's helpful. But thanks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Todd said, trying to find my own voice in the niche, how I tie in the offer, being able to spread the word, finding my distribution channel. Yes, I didn't take action fast enough, action on our sales strategy. Also, this is Mike, also we should have picked better team members to work with for client work. From now on, A players only. Absolutely. Todd, less system implementation, more conversations. Yeah, we can get sucked into setting up all the cool stuff. Conversations are just, this is a relationship game. Now, how do you build relationships? You can do it at scale with ads and, with content creation and things of that nature of building value for folks. Like there's people I believe I have like received a ton of value from that they don't even know who I am, right? Because of their content creation. But yeah, no, that's awesome, guys. To ask the big question, because I want to make sure we don't leave anything out. if you really look back at this year, what lessons did you learn? Right? And so how can you recap some of these lessons? Well, things that might be immediately just at the top of your head, like, oh, I know I learned this. Like, for instance, I learned that I don't want to turn off a Facebook ad campaign that's producing well because turning it back on, the cost per lead skyrocket. So we had turned off our Facebook ads briefly. It went from like $12 a lead to like 40, $50 a lead when I turned it back on. Now it's kind of like settled in, but that was something I didn't expect.
I'd say go with your gut on a lot of things with decisions.
Yeah, your gut is. I make a lot of decisions from gut, and I'm okay with declaring that, even though I'm like a total data guy and data geek, because I believe my gut has so much data over the last 17 years that I can't put into words.
Yeah, and I guess like for me more so on who you partner with, because yeah, I think that's important. Yeah, that's a learning lesson, for me. And I do appreciate you guys because although there's been certain things that, have taken place with certain clients, you always make it right and do your best to make it right. So I do appreciate that about you guys.
Yeah, we don't try to portray ourselves as a perfect company. We're not. It's human beings that make all this stuff up, right? We're not software that just runs perfectly every time. Not that software runs perfectly every time, but yeah, that is definitely the heart of our organization, is to do good work. And hey, if it's not our best, then make it right. That's important to us. So any other lessons you guys learned this year? So go with your gut in terms of who you're partnering with. That's awesome. I know this is not one of our flashiest topics that we've done, but I think this is really good, and I really appreciate you all participating. I think this is powerful stuff. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next question here. So that was reflecting. We've gone through 2024. We've kind of looked at our wins. What were they? How did we accomplish them? What did we not accomplish? Why don't we think we accomplished it? What were all the lessons that we think we learned? So hopefully you've got all that down somewhere. Next, I want to align before we make a plan for next year. It's important to ask, what do you want? If you don't ask, what is it that you want, whether that's out of your life, out of your agency, etc. But the big question as it relates to this, right, in this mastermind is, what do you want out of your agency next year? And this can be revenue based and client based. It could also be mission based, right? Value based. For instance, one of the things that I care about and have wanted, and I think we've been accomplishing fairly well, is I want to do business with people that are a pleasure to do business with. I actually added to, I've been A/B testing some of our decks in the Q&A that all of you guys experienced when you first signed up with us. But I've been A/B testing those decks. One of the things is, you can't be a jerk. It says it right there, like, hey, if you're a jerk, let's just not. That's what I really love about everybody in this room. I just truly believe that we all treat this like a true partnership together, both directions, not as a vendor relationship. And I think you encourage our team members. You're kind to our team members. We enjoy these conversations with you. That's important to me, right? But maybe it's number of clients, maybe it's revenue, maybe it's, and by the way, revenue isn't the end all be all, right? So revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. It's a quote that I really like lately. So profit at the end of the day and cash in hand at the end of the day is, what's going to help you achieve your financial goals, right? What are those things? Hit the MRR. We're targeting luxury of working with clients love. Have system set up. We're working on now. Beautiful. 10K MRR net profit. Love it. Love it. But you got to reverse engineer that, right? So, if it's net profit, what does that mean in gross? How much revenue is that total? Break that down over how many average clients you need to achieve that. So if you say, hey, your average client is $1,000, maybe it's $2,000, right? Whatever the case is. And then, okay, so how many clients that is? Is that 10 clients? Is that 20 clients? How many sales calls do you need to have? Let's say we close at a 20% sales rate. What's that look like? How many sales calls do you need to have? How many leads do you need to get them to the sales calls? Reverse engineering is the powerful thing here. Manage niche content better, prospect driven instead of informational. Love it. I really liked what Brent had shared with us in that mastermind that he came and did. It was about the group content that he posts out there, getting people to like opt in. Hey, I want that thing that you have, right? What is that thing? Right? It could be a competitor analysis. It could be, it can be informational of like, hey, I want more info about that, but that gets them closer to being a lead and opting in to have this conversation with you, right? So I love those kind of giveaways. Dominique dialed in marketing automation for our new packages next year, pipeline flow. Hey, Brian, welcome. Glad you're here. What's your average sale per client you've been signing among partners? I would say it's around $2,000 a month. Would you say that's a fair average? Or do you think it's more $1,000 a month? What do you think is a more fair?
Probably somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere $1,500 a month?
Somewhere around there.
Okay. So Marty would say about $1,500 a month is average. Okay. That sounds
bigger ones,
pretty
a lot of little
fair.
ones.
Yeah. There's a lot of little ones that skew that to be that size. Some of the bigger ones, obviously, just but I don't want to skew the number to their direction either. So yeah, I would say that's pretty fair. That's so if we think of like a PPC plus a GBP, that's 975 plus 750, really close. That's a little more than 1,500. Yeah, it's good. It's more like 1,700. Yeah, it's pretty close on average. All right. So what do you want out of your agency in the next year? Hopefully you've got that down. Why do you want that? Get descriptive. If you don't have a strong enough why, go ahead. Why? That's right. If you don't have a strong enough why, you won't put in the work. So be real. Do you actually need it? Why do you want it? To have more options. Okay. Options to do what? Why do you want those options? Why are having options important? Can you live without them? Really drill yourself on this one. A weak why leads to weak results. I can tell you, I've got a strong why. I got a lot of kids at home. I got a very big why. Oops.
Just a few.
Just a few. Just a few. Along with all those kids, I want to reduce stress. There's certain things that I want to take off of our plate, my wife's plate, my plate, in relation to managing the home. Free up more of my time, have more profit to achieve my investing goals. financial security, wealth. Specific revenue equals specific income as a CEO. Dollar for the lifestyle upgrade I like, and investments to make, donate to causes I'm involved with. Awesome, y'all. Is your why strong enough? If not, how can you make it stronger? It's interesting. Why is for some people, when they have their back against the wall and they need it, they have to have it. Sometimes that like survival is some people's why. And then they achieve survival and then they kind of chill out. And then they end up back in the need for survival and then they get back to it. We want to obviously try to get out of that, right? We don't have to need survival to be our why. Visualizing your why. So talking about travel with kids 2 times a year, visualizing where you're going, why you want to go there, the experience. Pull yourself forward. By the way, I think why should be present in your workspace. This is why you're doing what you're doing. Some people make like dream boards, right? Now we got what we want, why we want it. Now let's get to how can we make it a reality. What do you need to accomplish what you want in detail? What are the activities you have to do to accomplish that? What stands between you and the thing you want? And in detail meaning quantify it. In fact, make it smart. If you don't know what a SMART goal is, highly recommend you format your goals in such a way. Be very specific, right? Make sure it's measurable. If you can't look back and go, did I do that? Did I not do it? It's not measurable. Make it achievable, right? If you can't achieve it, if you truly believe like, oh, I probably can't get that done, then you're not going to be nearly as motivated to even try, right? Make sure it's relevant, right? The goal you write down is to actually help you really get to there, to get to the thing you want, and make it time bound. How much time do you have to accomplish that? There's a paradox, and I forget the name of the paradox, but it says, the more time we give it, the task will take as much time as we give it, right? So if I say, hey, I'm going to have that done in 30 days, guess what? Yep, I'll have it done at the end of the 30 days, not sooner. Oh, hey, I give myself 90 days to do that. It'll take the full 90 days, not sooner. Write down your specific goals, review daily, have specific action for each goal so you can hit, visualize, think about the end goal and how that feels. Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't have them written down. You don't review them. You don't hold yourself accountable. So we have a weekly meeting that the management team goes through all of we have the annual goals and then we have quarterly goals. We go, hey, on track, off track. Just have to call it out. Is it on track, off track? By the way, if it's off track, it's an issue. How are we going to get it back on track? Oh, okay, I've added a time block to my calendar. That's when I'm working on it. So having a weekly meeting with yourself, even if it's just you, hey, these are all the goals. Am I on track? Am I off track? This little bit of structure can be the difference between you just kind of going through the motions and doing things and like really thinking things out. We get into habits, and a lot of those habits don't serve us very well. So honestly, I truly believe even a personal meeting 30 minutes to an hour to go through all your goals and review it, even once a week, and just be brutally honest with yourself. Even better if you have somebody holding you accountable. I have a friend, he's like, hey, I'm going to, pay this much money to you or to charity or whatever the case might be. If I don't hit my goal, and he asks friends to call him and ask him how he's doing. Did he hit his goal? And if he didn't, he's got that thing he's got to go do. He's got to go pay that money to charity. He's got to pay the money to them, whatever the case, right? So do you have the accountability partner? That's helpful too. But going back to that, what do you need to do to accomplish what you want? So we talked about like specific numbers of revenue you want to achieve, managing niche content better, prospect driven instead of informational. How often are you sitting down and writing that content? How often are you posting? Do you have them on your calendar? Those things. Dialed in marketing automation for new packages next year. Okay, what does that mean? What does dialed in look like? What is the pipeline flow that you need? How many leads? How many appointments? How many, people actually show? How many deals? Right? Right with the end goal, reverse engineer, right? So this can super vary depending on your lead generation resources and things of that nature. But as you guys write down some of your goals, I'll share some of like just high level stats. So if you want a deal, expect anywhere between a 20 to 30% closing rate. It's pretty fair. That I would say that Marty and I have experienced that at large for most of our partners, that's the average. Out of the meetings you schedule to get to that 20 to 30% closing, right? So that's 1 out of 5. That's 1 out of 3, somewhere in that range, right? Might as well just use 25%. That's pretty fair. 1 out of 4. Out of the ones you schedule, depends on what you're using to schedule it. That's going to impact your show rate, right? So if you're doing like cold outreach, it can be tough. About 50% could be the show rate, right? Now, if you're using the drip emails we've given you, that can be better. If they're people like for us, our show rate across all of our lead generation tactics around 80-90%. And then how many leads do you need? So the next number you need to know is, all right, well, if I get a lead, what percentage of them are you going to get set into an appointment? Not that they showed up to it, just that you set them into an appointment. So we track all this. If you don't track those metrics, highly recommend you track those metrics. This is things that you will get feedback on. We look at those metrics every single week for our business. So, in terms of presentation to appointment rates, Facebook lead forms, we see 15-20%. It's a lot of leads. It's a lot of calls. We call each one about 5 times, email about 5 times. It's a lot of activity on Facebook lead forms. Other inbound where they've been more educated on you, where they maybe actually went to a page and learned more information, watched a video, those types of things, those can be a lot higher. So like SEO leads for us, we find about 50-60% of them are going to set an appointment. Still 1 out of 2. 50% set an appointment. And then 80% of those actually show up. And 25% of them close. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. I can take the time to do that at a later date. Good luck with that cold prospect. Next is, all right, cool. You've got things you want to do. You said, hey, this is what I need to do to get the thing done, to get the goal that I want. What do you remove off your plate? This is equally important. In fact, I would say this is even more important, because if you don't remove things from your plate, you just keep adding things to your plate, you'll never actually eat what's on your plate. So you got to remove things. What can you delegate? What can you automate? What can you delete? Delete's the easiest one, in my opinion, of like, hey, these are things I've been doing. They're not serving me in any way, right? So I've been posting content to this group for forever. Hasn't done a darn thing for me. Either choose to delete or severely revise what you've been doing, right? You know, if we just keep doing the same thing, it's not going to work. We already learned the lesson. So what can you delete? What's just taking your time that honestly you could automate? How can you get some time back by just doing that? And maybe you're not in a position to delegate just yet, but in terms of getting a virtual assistant, you know, we've got contacts that can introduce you if you're looking for a virtual assistant, an admin, etc. What could you get off of your plate that's ongoing that you have to do, right? That could be as simple as, hey, I sit in all these sales calls and I would love not to send out the proposal and the contract and all that stuff out to them afterwards, right? I have an admin that does that. I would love to have somebody that automatically sends out the drip emails to folks that I know have scheduled into a meeting, and I don't have to think about that anymore. Maybe you can automate that, by the way. I would love to have somebody that sends the next calendar invite and manages my inbox and pulls things, you know, to the front that I should be looking at, so I don't have to even live in my inbox. So there is a network that I like. One of my friends built it. It's called FreeUp. So if you look up FreeUp, they have a pretty good network of virtual assistants. Not too terribly expensive. FREEUP. Let me see if I can just get the website. Here it is. Put it in the chat. There you go. Anybody got anything they want to share that they go, yes, I should delegate this, I should automate this, I should delete this? Any lessons there? Anything that you feel like, yes, I should do this? This is a very important one that you should revisit often. And what is currently, so this is continue, what is currently helping you achieve that goal? What helped you get even close to your goal last year, right? Or what's going to help? What have you been doing that's helping you achieve those goals that you have? How can you double down? I've half considered to be really annoying in our masterminds next year. I've half considered making every mastermind about building up centers of influence relationships and stop bringing in mastermind guest speakers and literally just highly focus on that, because I believe in it so very much. The right referral partners are life-changing. All you have to do is intentionally message the right people, have the right conversations. It's life-changing. So many people go, hey, I want to go work with X niche and I'm going to start marketing to X niche. Meanwhile, they should be marketing to the influencer of X niche that they could be partnering with, that already has done the legwork, that already has a lot of relationships, but isn't marketing, right? Isn't offering the service, but they are incentivized in some way because of their relationship with that customer, right? So I talk about supplier companies, right? If their customers are marketing themselves better and they're growing, guess what? They're buying more supply, right? Those are examples. CPAs, bookkeepers, business attorneys, people that are connected to your target market. coaches. So I saw an agency this year grow rapidly because they were involved in a coaching community for their niche. They picked up a client or two inside that coaching community, and we crushed it. And those people inside that coaching community told all the other people in that coaching community, hey, they're crushing it. And they just blew up. It just grew so fast, right? And they're some of the easiest businesses to close because it wasn't cold. It wasn't cold email. It wasn't like a cold call of like, hey, I don't know who the heck you are, why I should trust you. It's, hey, you did great work for Bob, and he's in the same coaching program that I'm in, and I know Bob a long time. This is great. I'm going to try it, right? Centers of influence, huge. Focus on it, please. If there's one thing, focus on that. I practice what we preach, right? So in our model, we give away a huge percentage to agency owners, right? I practice a COI model. That's why I preach it. But you don't have to give anything away. You just build win-win-win relationships. You win, customer wins, the end customer wins, and the middle person wins in some way because they added value to that customer's life. This is my last one, y'all. I did it on time. Look at that. 4 minutes left. Thanks, Dominique. Thank you guys for participating. I hope that you found insight in this. Yeah, I'm hoping that you have captured lessons from this year that you didn't capture prior, that you just didn't like fully gain. I hope that you have a good idea of what you want for next year, how you want to accomplish it. I would love for you guys to share this. Can I share this deck? Absolutely. I think I can just share it right out of our Canva with y'all. So one sec, or maybe I could just upload it here. Nah, I don't think it'll take it. Let me just get y'all. I'll put it in the chat before you guys leave. Share. Public view link. That'll do it. Create. Copy. In the chat. There you go. Take your time with it. Really go deep on this, y'all. And if you haven't read the book Traction, it's a book I recommend. I think it's solid. Can lead to a lot of good infrastructure. One of the things that I think we've done well as an organization, and I'll kind of wrap up on this, is if you want to be big, act big. Right? So one of the things that Ken did when we first started the company is he wrote an employee manual. We didn't even have any employees yet. But he knew that we were going to go there, right? So he wrote an employee manual. So same thing. You might not have team members to sit down with every week to have a meeting to go over your goals and what you're doing and all that. But have a meeting with yourself, right? Put that on the calendar. Check in. Be big, like, because that's what you would do if you had team members. You would do that to kind of keep everybody on track of, hey, this is the goals and this is what we're doing, and holding it all accountable and keeping it all moving forward, keeping people encouraged, right? Helping get things unstuck. Do that for yourself. All right. I love all of you guys. Thank you again. Thank you for taking the time to participate. It's in the chat. Have a great evening.
Bye, everybody.